Sabah, small, medium tourism enterprises and initiative to empower performing arts practitioners. He and other co-authors have produced more than 27 works of journal articles, proceedings, chapter in books, and others within the past 2 years. Apart from that, he also managed to win 6 innovation awards in 2021 and 2022. Among the government agencies that he has conducted research, consultancy and work reports are Higher Education Leadership Academy, Sabah Ministry of Resource Development and Information Technology, and Cebu Municipal Council, Sarawak. He is also a member of the International Society for Development and Sustainability, the Southeast Asian Studies Regional Exchange Program, and Malaysia Institute of Human Resource Management. Wow, it's a wonderful curriculum for Mr. Datu Razali. And the photo, I think this Borobudur temple. Is it correct, Mr. Datu Razali?
Yes, correct. Thank you very much.
Okay, fellow students, today lecture session began with presentation of material by Mr. Datu Razali and continued with a question and answer session. So please welcome Mr. Datu Razali. Time is yours.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Christian Dandy from Universitas Negeri Jakarta. All right, just allow me to set my view first. If there is any possibility that I can actually check through the students. Yeah. So once again, thank you, students. Greetings from University of Malaysia Sabah. This is from Sabah State of Malaysia. I think I sincerely and being thankful and grateful to Dr. Christian for having our university, my university, to be the partner with your prestigious university. And as mentioned by Dr. Christian, I do facilitating or coordinating for international mobility students at our university. So students from our international students from China, from Indonesia are actually quite well versed with me. I remember before COVID-19, before the pandemic, I received one of the students from one of the university from Indonesia. He is also a he's a Insta famous. He has more than 1.8 million followers, a student, So in my experience managing international mobility students from China, Indonesia, South Korea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, for example, it's such a tremendous opportunity for me to getting close to your culture, to your teaching and learnings experience and so on. Yeah. So okay, this is kind of weird, yeah, because of the what you call the host actually changed me or put me up into the main stage. Yeah. Once again, thank you very much, the host. Yeah. So once again, without further ado, this is the second series, yeah, of the joint online lecture mobility between UJN and UMS. Yeah. So on today's topic, we are going to cover on the your week 10, if not mistaken, or topic 10, interest pay. So the whole context of this basically is sort of important because this will put you up into the the scale of working environment that will actually managing different type of workforce. Because upon your the completions of your degree, one day after you graduated, you will be managing different type of workforce. It will be a diversified workforce. You will be managing people who may be younger than you at your same age, or people probably that is older than you at the age of 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, and you might be coming across with the different types of demographic, yeah, including different levels of educations, different background of experience, and or combinations of both. So basically, it's quite important of this particular topic, which will actually to provide you an insight, or facets, yeah, of what human resource management practices doing in managing the establishments of a strategic pay. Now, when we mentions about strategic pay, it's hold on, yeah. Okay, just give me 1 sec. Yeah, I try to share my screen here. All right, hold on. Yeah, I remove myself from the spotlight first. Allow me to share my screen. All right. Okay. So this will be, yeah. So hopefully you are able to see my screen. Will it be okay? Is my screen online already, Dr. Christian?
Already.
Thank you very much. All right, so something that is common here, that when we talk about strategic pay, is that we will be looking into the perspective of managing the organizations in a perspective, in a strategic perspective. Because when we mention about strategic, that will be a much more of a strategic human resource planning and the management itself. So the whole context of it will be consist of 3 processes. Yeah, number 1, that will be strategy formulations, strategy implementations, and strategy evaluations. So these are the whole process that when we apply the strategic planning or strategic management practices into the human resource management practices. Now, if you look at the whole context, yeah, as an overview of the management, the whole process will be including of 4 main functions, yeah: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So but when it comes to human resource, that will becomes in between of these 4, which will be POS, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So which means to say the roles of us is basically will be facilitating the human resource, or the employees, or the workers, or the workforce within the organizations. Yeah. So on top of that, what actually the things that we are looking into is that we are also adding value, yeah, to the types of human capitals or human resource that working in our organizations. So in this particular context, we are looking into when we are managing corporations, when we are managing government departments, for instance, when we are managing private sector or private companies, what are the things that we need to do, the practices, yeah, the normal circumstances that we could actually look at to establish the pay options for the employees. Because types of employees that will be coming into your perspective will be those who are actually earn a professional degree, bachelor degree, for instance, or master's degree, that will enter the management and professionals levels within the organizations. Then you'll have like supporting staff who is actually graduated with diploma with experience, high schools leavers, for example, with experience, those who are actually from technical schools or vocational schools, yeah, or colleges, for instance. So those are the categories of employees that you are trying to merge in between. So how do we manage when we have such kind of diversified employees? Yeah. So when we look at the full context of it, to establish a strategic pay, let us look at a certain industry that kind of probably fascinating to look at. Yeah. So fellow students, yeah, from the UJN, yeah, which one is your favorite character here? Share with me, please. You can actually switch on your mic, or you can type in the chat box. Let me know who is your favorite character here. Probably Dr. Christian start first, yeah, or Adi Ilhamullah, yeah. Who is your favorite character? You can only choose one amongst all.
Maybe the Iron Man.
The Iron Man. All right. That will be Tony Stark, right? Let's go for our boss first, Dr. Christian. Who will it be?
Captain America.
Oh, Captain America. I think I have the same choice as well, because when Captain America Civil War, if not mistaken, that was the war between Iron Man and Captain America, right? If not mistaken, Civil War. I pick Captain America team. As much as I like the character of Tony Stark, but personally when we choose the team, the value that they're holding on, I will go for Captain America. Now we have 2 versus 1. Can we have some other students perhaps to share your thoughts? Yeah. Who actually will you be being your pick? Captain America, you have Thor, the God of Thunder, for example, and Hawkeye, the green guy, Incredible Hulk. So anyone else? Come on, let's have some more feedback. Yeah, probably we can call some ladies from the sessions to look at which one is your favorite character. That also not excluding Natasha, yeah, Ramanov. All right. So let's have Shifa Nabila. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Okay. Hello. So which one is your favorite character if you have seen this movie?
I love Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay, so we have like 2 versus 2 now. All right, we go for Deverine and Thessalonica. 2 of them. So these 2 actually having 2 choices here. Ya, siapakah karakter yang disukai itu ya? Who will that be? Ya. Sila on-kan mic ya untuk berbicara, jangan berbicara sendiri.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Be brave.
I didn't see the feedback like Thessalonica is like this. Yeah? We go for Elizabeth. Yeah, Elizabeth. Yes. Come on. Let's give some feedback. Who would you choose?
Maybe I'm not really interested with the Avengers, but I really like the girl in the picture.
Okay, that's a gender bias. You choose the person without knowing the person because of the gender, but that's okay. In general, that's okay. Elizabeth, thank you very much. Yeah, probably you are much more of a DC fans. Yeah, so the whole thing is that why do I bring up this particular matter is that how does this relates to the strategic pay, establishing the strategic payoff, within our context. Now, a lot of us, we may like, for example, we may choose, Iron Man, or you have like Captain America. But if I think most of the characters that people will love are actually, Iron Man and Captain America. And partially, that will be Natasha Romanoff, right? So in the context of this, if we look at the Iron Man, for instance, okay, Robert Downey Jr., who is the the main actor of Iron Man, has actually went through was a child actor that went through ups and downs in the whole the whole career, up until the first movie to be the lead actor as a Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie. He was actually offered for 2.5 million back in 2008. So that was the first first thing about Robert Downey Jr., where the payment was actually about 2.5 millions, 2.5 millions. Okay, so up until the upcoming movies back in 2012, you can see that the pay for his salary, as an Iron Man in the Avengers has topped up until 50 millions. So you can see that strategically, from 2008 until 2012, within the span of 4 years, you can see, from 2.5 million, it increased to 50 millions. Now, this is the context that when we talk about strategic, it could be within the planning of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, It depends on which kind of context that you want to look at, short term, mid-term, or long term, for instance. Then on top of that, with the movie of Avengers, for instance, there is also a clause, a signing agreement, between RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., with the producer, which is Marvel's and Disney, if not mistaken, with the back end percentage of the movie's profit. So which means that anything that earned by the Avengers, Avengers 1 and 2 and upcoming movies and so on, he will be earning the additional profit, a shares of it. Okay, so remember, 2008 until 2012, you can see that the increment was about 47.5 millions. It's a huge jump. Then 2013, 1 year after the Avengers, RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., has actually topped the Forbes annual highest paid actor with the accumulated wealth of 75 million in that particular year itself. This will be including with the Avengers back end percentage. So Iron Man 3, it was released in 2013. He earned another 75 millions. So what about Avengers of Age of Ultron? Yeah, in total, he racked up about 80 million. So you can see that the strategic payment of it. Yeah, the strategic payment of it. And when he stars in, Captain America: Civil War, that's the movies I was talking about. Elizabeth, from that particular movie, he was actually a co-star. The main actor was actually, Captain America, right, Dr. Christian? So what happened was that, he racked up about 33 millions, yeah, just to be, star in that particular movie, yeah, in one movie. 2017, the wealth increased to the pay salary increased up until 48 millions, yeah. So some more. During the Spider-Man Homecoming, he became the father figure. I think he just popped up on screen for less than 10 seconds on the bridge. Yeah, if it's not mistaken, I think there was a scene that he just popped up less than a couple of minutes, and he brought home for about 15 millions. So that's the fee, you see. Now we talk about the first base pay in 2008 that Robert Downey Jr. getting was about 2.5 million. With the hit and the success of the of the movie, he has racked up about 80 million, 75 millions to 80 millions per movie. Yeah. And somewhat you can see that the value actually increased throughout time. Now the value of 50 millions, maybe you look at it, is very small. But imagine that compared to 50 millions compared to 80 millions. But imagine that 50 millions is only for the fee of appearing in Spider-Man Homecoming, which is less than a couple of minutes. So a couple of minutes is already like 50 million. So you can say that instead of a full movie, he earned about 80 million. 1 minute could be probably his salary is about 1 million, yeah, or 1.5 million, 1.5 million. So if he appeared for more than for less than 1 minute, then you can say that 1 minute he will worth about 15 millions. Now this is the case that if you look at this particular movie industry, yeah. So when we go forward towards Avengers Infinity War, yeah, before Endgame, this is the the second best of Avengers series, yeah. Elizabeth, I think you would have loved this if you blend into this multiverse of the Marvels, yeah. So if you look at the Infinity War, he was actually racking up about 81 millions, so these are the things that you can see. The total rack up of the salary pay is by year, yeah. So 75 millions for that particular year, 15 millions for the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, Avengers Infinity War 2018, 81 million. Okay, so with the global success of more than 2 billion, sorry, that's supposed to be 2 billions, yeah. Where is that? 2 billion. Let me edit it first. All right. Sorry for the error. With the global success of more than 2 billion, he also earning about bonuses. So up until today, if Avengers Infinity War is still on screen on Netflix, on Disney Plus, for example, Disney Plus Hotstar, for example, then which means to say he will still keep on earning. Yeah. So Avengers Endgame 2019, the final episode of the Robert Downey Jr., where there is an iconic scene. You can see that in that particular year itself, he has actually he earned for 75 millions, yeah. But this one, it does not include the the back end percentage of bonus, yeah. So in total, at current value, now the current value of Robert Downey Jr. basically is about 20 million. You can see that the base pay, which means the basic salary that he can agree, yeah, with with any movies that he's about to star, is about 20 million per movie now, after the value after he has starred in many Avengers and Iron Man's series, yeah. So that will be including as well 55 millions on the back end of the Endgame 2019, yeah. So you can see that in total he has earned, yeah, from Avengers Endgame 75 million plus 55 million and plus another 20 million base pay of any movies that he's going to participate or he's going to act from any other movie production companies, yeah. So this is the case of Robert Downey Jr. Now if you look at the main keywords here, is that you can see that I started off with the basic pay, and ended up with the base pay. You can see that before Iron Man series, before Avengers, his pay was actually less than only a few hundred thousands. So when he started as the Iron Man in 2008, it was about 2.5 millions. Yeah, that's the value of his market on that particular time. And you can look at now the value of him, regardless of any movies, as long as he start in that particular movie, that will cost 20 million for the producer to pay. Now, this is kind of an interesting fact that if you look at, the whole context of, different type of, industry. Of course, the whole things that I'm going to share with you is not, I'm not asking you to be an actor or actress, but what I'm saying is that, when we talk about human resource management, we're actually looking not from the perspective of employees, but we are looking from the perspective of employers. Now, imagine that, if Avengers Endgame, nothing had happened. I'm not going to give a spoiler to Elizabeth.
Okay, I think Mr. Datu Razali freeze, or maybe a connection. Please wait a minute.
All right, apology for that. I think, because I commented, on, are you able to see my screen now? Sorry about this. I'm wondering,
Okay.
okay, let me just reshare my screen. Sorry about it. All right.
Okay, no
So now
problem.
Marvels is actually, it's, it's not happy with the announcement. All right. But we are not going to spoil the spoiler to Elizabeth. But in total, you can see that, Robert Downey Jr. has earned more than, 435 million from the Marvel series itself. So what I'm saying is that, it's not just about the movie industry. So one day when you are working, you could be, looking to manage human resource management from the perspective of our employers. Because human resource management departments basically is just one of the departments within the organizations that facilitate and add values to all of the departments within the organizations. Any departments, marketing department, research and development, sales, for examples, or operations, we are the one that facilitate and add value to it. But the thing is that, whatever that we suggested, there is always another department or committee that will decide. Say, for example, if you want to increase the salary, the fee, or the compensations for the employees, pampasan, ganti rugi ataupun gaji, for example, we want to pay for the employees, that will be decided by the compensation committee. So it is not just at like us to make the decisions as just like that, but there is also a requirement for the approvals of the board of directors. Now, this is the context of RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. So in this particular context today, what we are going to learn, more or less, the learning outcomes that you will know when we want to determine the pay rates, kadar gaji, in organizations, for your employees in organizations, what are the factors that we look at? So if you look at the case of Tony Stark, for example, Robert Downey Jr., that will be because of the popularity, the the what you call the charisma of the actor or actress itself. Explain in details how to establish pay rates. When you identify this is the value of the employees, how are we going to adjust the range of the payments to be made for the employees at workplace. Third, explain how to price the managerial and professionals, workers or executive. Now, this is the things that when you have a range of workers, you have a A-list actor, you have a A-list performers of workers, you have not performing staff in the organization. How are you going to manage this? I'm talking about, if you are managing a multi-millions company or multi-billion company, for example, who knows that one day you might be working with Pertamina, for instance, or who knows that you might be working with, Hairul Tanjung's company, for example, transnationals, stations, for example, or the theme park, for instance, So when you are working with the corporate, corporations one day, if you a very simple, comparisons. You want to open up a vacancy, for example. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, my internet is not stable here, yeah. Much apology to that, yeah. So imagine that there is a vacancy, yeah, dia ada jawatan kosong, yeah. There's vacancy. One vacancy, two applicants. We go for two applicants. One with a bachelor degree, with no experience. The other applicant, job applicant with a bachelor degree and job experience. Okay, then how would you value the job experience itself? The person actually has been working for 5 years in the industry, coming into your company with a 5-year experience. How will you measure that? A person or an employee or a job applicant applied for a post in your organizations, in your company, with a job experience of 10 years. How much is the difference between 5 years and 10 years? These are the things that you may look at. You understand or not? Okay, but if you're working in government sector, for example, yeah, you are working with government, public sector, for instance, you will be dealing with workforce planning. Yeah, that will be depending on the budget of the government. If the government actually say, in this year, we are going to implement minimum wage, gaji minima, for example. Yeah, Indonesia, I think it's more than 1,500. Yeah, because I remember last time our Prime Minister, Datu Sri Najib, when he announced, yeah, our minimum wage 1,200. I think Indonesia has announced the minimum wage or increased the minimum wage, which more than 1,200 ringgit, Malaysia. Yeah, so I think it's a couple of millions. Yeah. Okay, the minimum wage in Indonesia. Yeah, if we are talking about Indonesian rupiah, for example. Now, these are the things that when we compare, yeah, managerial and professionals, experience of people. Now, if you're working with the international corporations, for instance, how are you going to pay? Are you going to pay in the sense of Indonesian rupiah, for example, or you are going to pay them in US dollars? For example, there's oil rig companies, yeah, that in between two countries, for example. One oil rig company, oil rig company, penggali minyak, yeah, seperti Pertamina, for example, yeah. So, one is actually in the border of your own country, which is using your own currency. The other one is actually using, it's run by the international corporations like Shell, for example, British Petroleum, for example, yeah, Petronas of Malaysia, for example. Then the pay, are you going to pay in US dollars, or are you going to pay for Petronas, from Malaysia in ringgit Malaysia? Are you going to pay for the operations in Indonesian rupiah, for example? These are also some of the considerations when it comes to matching the pay gap. So these are the things that when we look at, when you plan strategically, is also involving tactical approach. Yeah. What we have seen on the paper is basically what we call it as technical payments. Yeah. Whatever that is documented, what is published is documented. But to attract talented employees at workplace, it may need a tactical approach. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goals of management will be two. Number one will be optimized performance of the employees. And the first one will optimizing the performance of employees. Number two, to retain the best employees in organizations. Yeah, so the best employees in organizations, we are going to talk about talented employees, quality employees, knowledge and skilled workers, for example. So these are the group of people that brought the value to your organizations, have a high return on investment, that you will tend to keep them in your organizations. Number four, we are going to discuss, a bit of competency-based pay and other concurrent, types of compensations. Yeah. So we'll have the, Q&A afterward. So feel free to ask questions and, or share opinions. We sincerely welcome your feedback as well. Yeah. Our fellow, learners from Indonesia. So in understanding the basic factors to determine the pay rates, there will be two types of payments. Yeah, one will be the direct financial payments. The other one will be the indirect financial payments. So remember, the keyword is that two types of payment. One is direct, the other one is indirect. What will it be? So according to AIHR, okay, so indirect compensations, that will be including like medical insurance, for instance. Yeah. Okay. And then you will have like life insurance, for instance. Yeah. Apart from the life insurance, you may also have like disability income, pensions, as well as social security. Yeah. There is also a type of indirect compensations which will be including like holidays. Yeah. In Malaysia, we have lots of holidays. Yeah. I can tell you that. Yeah. In Malaysia, we have more than 20 plus days of holidays. So which means to say in a year, we almost have more than 20 plus days, almost a month of holidays. What some more in Sabah, my place, we are multiracial. For example, we celebrate and we different festive seasons, yeah, from time to time. Yeah, say for example, like November up until December, we will have like Maulidur Rasul, yeah, ataupun Maulud Nabi, for example. We also celebrate the Christianity All Souls Days, for example. And then we also celebrate Deepavali for the Indian community, for instance. Yeah. And end of December, we are also going to celebrate, yeah, Christmas. Yeah. So all of these are basically, it's a type of indirect compensations, which including of holidays. Now, I remember that, most often, when I travel to, Jakarta or Indonesia, a couple of regions, yeah, I've been to Indonesia few occasions actually during a Ramadan's month. So I noticed that there is a changes of structure of operations of business. Yeah, so you can see that all of these are actually part of the considerations that you may look at. Yeah. Okay, when we talk about direct compensations, that will be including like the base pay. Remember just now the example that I talked about, Tony Stark or Iron Man or the actual actor Robert Downey Jr. The base pay actually started from 2.5. It increased to 20 millions, yeah, minimum, yeah, for any movies now. And it can be also based on the merit pay, yeah, which is related to the the capacity and the contributions of that particular employees based on the metrics of the achievements. Yeah. So under base pay, you may include salary and wage. Now, the difference between salary and wage, it will be salary normally in a layman view is that salary will be paid, on monthly, occurrence with the additional benefit, which means to say you are entitled also for public holidays and so forth. Yeah. So when you the whole you're also entitled for annual leave as well, yeah, other than public holidays. So all of your work, is actually quite stable because there's a fixed monthly pay for you to receive. Yeah. So the basic salary and also with the incentive and benefits that you receive, yeah, or indirect compensations, for instance. Yeah. So regardless whether you work or you applied leave to go for travels or sick leave, for example, you still have your salary because it is designated for you as a salary itself. Yeah. So there's also a certain act that covers, a basic salary, yeah, to those who actually earn less than, a few hundred US dollars in Malaysia, for instance, or, when you earn less than a few $100s in Malaysia, you actually covered with the minimum wage, yeah, for the salary. So that's what in the context of Malaysia, it will be Ringgit Malaysia, 1,200 Ringgit before 2022. Yeah, recently this year itself, our Prime Minister, has actually launched a new campaign and has passed the bill to increase the minimum wage, yeah, which is 1,500 Ringgit. Now, when we talk about wages, for instance, how does it being calculated? The wages are actually being calculated based on the fact that, you are working hourly or you are working on a daily pay. So if you take up the leave, you take up a holidays, or you do not turn up to work, or your employees do not turn up to work, then they will receive no salary. Yeah. So that's why in the context of Malaysia, for instance, in constructions industry, yeah, at construction industry, normally or generally commonly, the workers will be paid by wages. Yeah. the manual workers. Yeah, manual workers will be paid by wages. If they do not turn up to work, they probably will get lesser wages, total wages. The more days that they come to work will be the better earning that they have. Yeah. Okay. So normally wages are for non-professionals or lower levels of workers, or it can be also manual workers. Yeah, manual workers. Manual workers, which means to say they are using their labors. Yeah, physical labors to perform the task. Yeah, but salary is fixed, designated, regardless of any events of the attendance, as long as it is under the purview of the the annual leave that has been designated for you. Okay, some other form of direct compensations will be including incentive pay. When the business is good, you will be receiving a bonus, you'll be receiving commissions as well. So I give you one examples. Yeah, back in 2005, 2006, 2007, that was the booming computer industry in Malaysia. On that particular time, laptop is so expensive. Yeah, cheapest laptop you can get is about 3,000 ringgit, a decent one. Yeah, Sony Vaio, it costs about 8,000 ringgit. 8,000 ringgit divided by 4, it will be 2,000 US dollars. For students on that particular time, that will be so expensive. Yeah, as a student, yeah, the laptop is not cheap. Yeah, so but the selling of the laptop is actually it was actually booming. So I went to research on one a certain shops, yeah, computer shops in at Kota Kinabalu, Sabah here. I found out that there is one particular company or computer selling shop. If you sold more than a certain numbers of amount of sales in a month, which is roughly about hold on, yeah, 10,000, 40,000, 20,000, roughly about 25,000 US dollars, for example, in a month, you receive about 300 US dollars of incentive. Yeah, so these are the things that when we look at it, yeah, the higher the pay, the higher the sales, the higher the commissions or the incentive that you're giving away for your employees. So this is the form of direct compensations. All right, so if we are looking at some other perspective, is that compensations also can be categorized as financial and non-financial categories. Yeah, financials, that will be in terms of money, but non-financials, we are looking into a meaningful job. Yeah, a meaningful job, for instance. Yeah, which means to say you have a good policies at workplace. It is safe. The environment is safe. You have nothing to worry, for example. It's COVID-free, for example. Yeah, when you want to buy test kit, the company will prepare for you. They will give you a test kit for free. Yeah, because test kit was so expensive last time. Yeah, it's about $3, for instance. Yeah, but imagine that if the company or the corporations actually give you for free, not only for you, but it is also for the for your families. Per week, for example, they give you like 20 bucks or 30 bucks. Imagine, that save a lot of money. If 30 bucks times $3, for example, is already $90. The dollars that we are mentioning here is the US dollars, for example. So, so the things that, imagine if you have such a good, a working environment that is safe, So these are the non-financial perspective that, you feels like, it's worth to work at, and it is satisfying and you feel enjoy about it. Yeah. There's also another type of non-financials, environment where they promote the flexibility, yeah, to strike out the balance between work and life balance itself. Yeah, so the things about flex time is that they do not have a fixed hours, yeah, working clock like 8 to 5. You coming to work at 8 and then you going back at 5, clocking in, clocking out. In your generations now, I think you will receiving more of a flex time jobs, and as well as a compressed work week, for example. There's a certain of flexible times where the total numbers of the working hours are actually being compressed in a week, which means to say from Monday until Saturday or until Sunday, you can choose the day that you want to work and the total working hours that you can actually work with. So this is the compressed work week. Yeah. So eventually, this is much more of a freedom. So another way to say is that you have more time to develop your own career, yeah, your personal growth, for example. Say, for instance, you are, content creator on YouTube or on TikTok, Instead of working every day, Monday until Saturday, with the compressed work week, you have additional days for you to run your own business. That's number one. Number two, if your parents getting older, for example, yeah, I think some of you are actually, the students here are actually having a young parents, yeah. But when you are grow older, this is something that you may need, yeah. A certain time of, outside the office time to take care of your parents. It could be also bringing them to visit doctors, going for their dialysis, for their medical review, monthly medical review. So all of these are basically the, such a flex time and compressed work week that can provide you, yeah. There is also a type of job that, we talk about telecommuting. Yeah, I know there is one particular company in Europe, for example. The person is actually based in Sweden. When I interviewed the person, how is the flexibility is that they are not required to go to work, they are required to be on screen whenever needed only, because the company nature of business is actually to design platform for business. Yeah, they design solutions, they design software. So which means to say they are allowed to work anywhere, everywhere around the world, as long as they bring the laptop around. You see how flexible it is. We are talking about, it's a virtual workplace. You are not required to go to office physically. You can do your things, but it only requires you a laptop with the internet connections, because all of the solutions, programming and all, are all available on the laptop itself, yeah, on the internet cloud server itself. Now, these are the things that when we talk about telecommuting, because the impact of the technology has changed the routine of work and the structure of the delivery of work processes. Yeah. Now, a lot of us, maybe we think that, cloud computing is more of, storage only. Yeah. For example, you buy additional storage, you store everything. Now, cloud computing is much more than storage. It is about to facilitate the whole work process through the internet connectivity and infrastructure. Why is that I'm saying so? Because like I said, the company just now in Sweden, okay, the person laptop has nothing. Yeah. So which means to say, if the person has lost the laptop itself, it does not matter. There is no data on the laptop itself, because everything is already on the cloud server of the company. So anywhere does he go, whether he brings the laptop or not, for example, as long as he get the access of the computer, he can start to do his work. Now, this is the beauty of the, technological world. Yeah. So I'm not sure though, much of the students here, I think it's about 200, 250 of students, what kind of a business venture, what kind of employment service, what kind of opportunity that you will be getting in the future. Who knows that? Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, it's getting more interesting. Now, I know also a family friend of ours who is basically working with United Nations, to translate a legal paper. She will be paid for $40 $40 one page to translate, yeah, Chinese to English, to translate Chinese to English, she will get the pay of $40 per page. So imagine that, imagine that if the pages, is about 10 pages, she will be earning for about $40. 400 US dollars. If 100 pages, she will be earning 4,000 US dollars. So these are the things that when we talk about professional fees, something that is matched or something that is being calculated, something that's valued based on the expertise of hers. Yeah, she's a lawyer, but she's also good in Chinese. So, instead of becoming a lawyer, she chooses to be a translator, a documents translator for one of the, United Nations, country. So anytime that that particular country attending United Nations and wanted to translate the paper, she will be doing that. You see or not? So this is the beauty of it. Yeah. So what I'm saying here is that you could be, having such kind of workforce or work environment. This is the things that we do not know, because the future is so vast for you. Yeah. So it's so vast for you. Yeah. Compared to my time with Dr. Christian time when we were studying. Yeah. We do not have so much of these options. The internet that we had last time was actually a dial-up. You know what kind of dial-up is it? Diaz and Dika, you know what is dial-up internet connection? Diaz, yeah. Mas tahu ya apa itu dial-up connection?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know.
You know, dial-up connection is that it's a prepaid, which means to say you have to pay for the internet first. Then it requires the modem to connect. It's not like it's auto connect. It's not. You have to dial in. You have to put up a username. You have to key in your password. It's just like a reload, and the sound will be like beep, 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 beep. If the sound is so weak, which means to say the dial-up is not successful. These are the things that you look at it. Okay, so that was the dial-up generations. Yeah, on our time, I can tell you, the phone was so expensive. Back in 2002, Nokia 3310, yeah, it cost about 100, 200, US dollars. But nowadays, it costs about 10 US dollars only. Yeah, so the development of the technology has actually shifted the way how people work. I also came across with a company, for example, how they monitor the operations of the truck driver, and the lorry driver, the truck driver, is that they are using GPS installed system, to actually monitor the shipment time of each driver. So they know from there on, they are able to analyze the job of the driver. From one particular distance, if you are sending how many packages through how many distance, with what kind of, the length of the distance from kilometer 1 until kilometer 100, how long does it take? If you are in if you are in town center, for example, like city center in Jakarta, you go to one place to another place, how long does it take, for example? So these are the things that the GPS will auto calculate that. So human resource managers, you will be having no headache to calculate that. You're not going to ask each driver A, lorry driver A, truck A, you send from one location to another location. How long does it take? City center, in Jakarta itself, the jam, the congestion about it, from location A to location B, how long does it take? So the system will calculate that for you. So our role now, with the impact of the technology, we are actually triangulate with the technology when we are designing the pay plan for the employees. So now these are much more of a different approach of things that you may look at in the future. All right, upon your graduations, when you started to look for jobs. Okay, so in terms of compensations in general, within the context of United States of America, there are lots of acts that govern that. What I'm saying here is that if whatever it is, the acts of different countries across the world, Northern America, South America, for example, Asian, ASEAN, for example, regardless of any regions, we are still referring to the international labor, standards, the international labor ordinance, and to fit into that. And you can see that most of the legal considerations that related to Employment Act, Disability Act, for example, Non-Discrimination Act, are actually to provide a betterment for the employees and to protect the employees. So as long as you follow and comply with the minimum requirement of the law, then your company is safe. Because human resource management, managers at workplace, we are not only dealing with, with your employees, but we must be careful, in practicing our exercises, or exercising our human resource management practices, so that the company will not get sued. So agar tidak didakwa di mahkamah, so that we do not get sued by the employees or potential client of ours. So these are the things that we may want to look at. So corporate policies, competitive strategy, and compensations are the major elements to look at. If you work with big corporations, because your corporate policy will actually entails what kind of a corporate figure you are. If you go to a certain fast food restaurant, for example, if you go to fast food restaurant, for instance, if you get the chance to go to McDonald's, for example, then you will see the difference of McDonald's. Normally they will have a very clear pamphlet or leaflet regarding the career growth. Even if you do not be present at the at the physical store. I can actually bring you to McDonald's, for instance. Okay. Okay, that will be here, for example. Yeah. Are you able to see my my internet Safari here?
Yes, yes.
I'm browsing the McDonald's. Yeah.
McDonald. Yeah.
Yes, you can look at the McDonald career, for example. In Malaysia, let's look at the Malaysian context, yeah? Or in general, easy. Hold on, yeah. Mm. It's so clear. It's very clear. Yeah, you can see that they have a strong career path, for you to look at. So even if you look at it, you can see that they are serious about the development of the employees, yeah, of the staff. Can see or not? You see, you started off with a barista, a rider, a star, a crew, for example. Then you start to be a trainer. So when there's a new branch, has opened, you're becoming the assistant manager. Then they will train you to be a management trainee. After you becoming, a management trainee, then they will increase to be executive management trainee. Then after that, you have the chances to be the department manager. Yeah, up until that. So to the extent that you can see, there is always, a career growth for that. Now, these are the things that when we talk about establishing a strategic pay. So from operation side, we have to be aware of this. What kind of trainings that we need to, what kind of trainings that we need to look at? Yeah. What kind of training and development programs that we need to provide for the employees? For crew barista, for example, yeah, rider, they want to increase to be a crew leader, for example. What kind of trainings they need to attend? Communications, for example, financial accounting, for example, who knows? Yeah. So this is our roles to fit in to fill up the gap. So our roles is that to add value to the peoples in the organizations so that they can climb the ladder. This is our roles as a human resource managers. Yeah. So okay. So again, it will very much depending on the corporate policies itself. Right. So some of the compensation policy issues will be, that will be one, pay for performance. Yeah. So how do you decide when the team actually perform better? Pay for seniority, for instance. Yeah, people who are working very long. Yeah. Have been ages in the organizations, because the issue about compensation is that certain people, they started off at lower grade, for example. Yeah, say for example they started with high school's certificate or diploma. They've been working for 10 years or 15 years. Okay. Well, have been working for 15 years, for example. So if you have been working for 15 years, suddenly there's a new guy with a bachelor degree came in and received the same salary as you. How would you feel? Of course, as a bachelor degree, when you enter with a high salary, you'll be smiling and you'll be happy, because it feels like your equity is higher than the other people. But sometimes you could be sad. You feel sad, she has been working for 15 years. But our salary is the same. I spent 3 years to study at the university. So these are the things that when we mention about, the compensations or the pay plan that you have to look at, yeah, so that it is able to be justified to the needs and the satisfactions of the employees. Yeah, pay scale, for example, how do you decide? Is there any ceiling or maximum pay of one particular job? Yeah, so these are the things that you look at. Yeah, if you send the staff for training and development, when their skills, their knowledge, their attributes actually increase, does it mean that the salary also increase? This is also a dilemma. You see, I came across with one particular company when I asked about an interview about the training and development programs, yeah, of the particular company. They just implemented the minimum requirement by the government. The reasons why, because the production, the supply for their company is only sufficient to match the demand, because there is a limited demand for the business, so that the supply of the company is not being able to be expanded. So there's no reason for the company or the manufacturer to actually increase or buy in a new machines to increase the productions. No need, yeah, because the supply has reached the maximum, the demand has reached the maximum level within the industry, so they cannot increase some more. So which means to say, with the cost of the human resource increasing every year, if you send them for training and development some more, or competency certificate some more, does it raise the concern or the issue of, salary is getting more expensive. So these are some of the things that you may look at as well. Yeah. So on top of that, some of the other issues that overtime pay. I came across with one particular company, before the change of management, before the new general manager came in. The first general manager that they work, overtime, you can claim for money. You receive money, you receive salary. The overtime that you work on Saturday and Sunday, you still be receiving in dollars. Yeah, in dollars. So the money will be converted into it. Say, for example, $1,500 US, 1 month. Okay, overtime is about 1,000. So in total, you receive $2,500. Good or not? Very good. Okay, because it is paid for your attendance at work. But came in a new GM, a new general manager. He said the overtime that you work, you cannot claim, but you can only claim for, annual leave. It's an unpaid leave. You can claim for paid leave. Yeah. So which means to say, no matter how much overtime that you work, you cannot claim for money. You only can claim for, leave. You can claim for off day. But the problem is that some more it's get worse when the company does not have enough employees. So the leave, the annual leave that you have with the overtime replacement leave that you have is accumulated, but you are not able to take the leave, it will become a major issue. So eventually, roughly about 20% of the employees left the company and start up their own business. Some of them go back to the old factory, the previous employment. Some of them started to selling, open up a shop, at market, for example, because they are no longer happy with the company. Because the proverbs say, happy workers are, productive workers. So imagine that, $1,000 US, yeah, how much will that be? That's a lot. Even if we were to mention overtime, $500 US, yeah, that will be a lot. I think it's millions, yeah, in rupiah, yeah, for example, yeah. To us, $1,000 US is about almost $5,000 in Malaysia. So it's almost like 4.8, 4.5, yeah, 4.5 difference. So what some more? Yeah, because of I think 1,000 ringgit Malaysia in Indonesia is about 1 million. Yeah, is it or 3 millions? Yeah, Dr. Christian. I forgot. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, when we changed, our currency in Indonesia, I become a millionaire. I'm so happy.
Okay.
In Malaysia, I'm a millionaire. Yeah. When I go to Indonesia, I became a millionaire. So now, what some more you are paid? Yeah, in US dollars. So imagine that. So with the changes of the overtime pay, in dollars, but change to overtime replacement leave, the staff are not happy. So these are the things that we may look at it. Okay. We'll discuss some more, along the way. All right. So what are the impacts, of the pay rates? Some will actually, compare, when they want to compare between their pay at outside, the company, especially with the competitors, for example. Okay. Say, for example, in the industry, your organization pay you $2,000 US. Okay, for example, $2,000 US. Your competitors pay about $1,800 US. So you earn more with your company. You're happy. Outside market, 2,200. You earn less 200 ringgit. You say, I deserve actually another 200. So the tendency of happiness or satisfaction lower down some more. You see, so that's the external equity. Yeah, you compare. Internal equity, you may look at, how much is the difference between your job pay between you and other colleagues. This can happen when you have geographical departments, for example, you are both the product manager, for example, or human resource manager. Region A, you are getting 5,000 US. Yeah. Region B, you are paid in Indonesian rupiah. Region C, you are getting paid in Malaysian ringgit. That will be the difference, you see. Because the payment in Indonesian rupiah convert to US dollars, then convert to our money, we receive more. Indonesian rupiah to Malaysian ringgit straight away, we receive less. Compared to the diversions, you pay us in US dollars and I convert the US dollars as well. So these are the internal equity, within different region, for instance. Yeah. So this is most applicable to international chain hotels, fast food restaurants, for example. Yeah. Apparels, for example. Yeah. You talk about fast food chain, for example, you may compare. Yeah. Individual equity when you compare individually. Yeah. I remember there was a case, yeah, when one of our staff, yeah, back in those days, yeah, when I was still with private companies, yeah, for example, I earned 100 US dollars extra. When my colleague saw me, I earned $100 extra. He or she started to question the CEO. He knocked on the CEO doors and he asked, how come Datu Razali earned more than me? I earned lesser than Datu Razali. 100 US dollars. It's about 1 million Indonesian rupiah. Also questionable, amongst the colleague. But normally in private sector, we don't share the details. True or not? Yeah, Dr. Christian? I'm not sure about in Indonesia, but normally we don't. Yeah. But in government sector, we can see, what is the pay grade. The only difference is that the probably the work experience. So the seniority-based promotions, the working or annual increments. Yeah. So it's a different case. Yeah. Procedural equity as well. That could be another issues to look at. Yeah. So how to identify the suitable salary, okay, or to ensure there is a equitable salary pay. Number one, you can conduct survey. The survey you can actually interview. You can actually conduct the survey or interview amongst your staff and compare it with the salary market. Number two, you can do job analysis and evaluate the job, whether the job is safe, whether it's hazardous or not. Because if you're working in factory, for example, the factory could be not safe, for instance. Yeah. If as a human resource manager, you see the medical costs actually increase, more and more people getting cancer, for example. Yeah. In Indonesia, we call it kanker. Yeah. So the cancer, for example, increase, for instance, then the medical cost will increase as well. If it is covered by your company, that's where you need to start to analyze the job. Is it the place actually safe or not? I give you one of the incidents. Yeah. This is where I'm actually being the I explore this particular place. Yeah. It's a copper mine site. Yeah. In what you call in Sabah, you can see. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Right. This place is so beautiful, right? So this was a copper mine site, yeah, in Sabah. There was owned by a couple of companies, yeah, since the 1970s. You can see that, yeah, it's a copper mining field. So when they operating this, because it deals with a big tractor and all, yeah. So the area is to mine copper and gold, yeah, untuk mencari tembaga dan emas, ya, di tempat ini, ya. So in mining this particular area, they have an in-house medical doctor prepared because they are dealing with the tractor. You know how big is the tractor tire in 1970s or 1980s? It's almost like 8 feet to 10 feet. Yeah, our normal size is about 5 feet, 6 feet. Yeah. Indonesians and Malaysians, for example. Yeah. So imagine it's about 8 feet to 12 feet of tire. The tractor tire is even taller than me in a person. So which means to say it's quite hazardous as well. Yeah, berbahaya. So in this particular site during the 70s and 80s, for instance, they have their in-house doctors that always prepared to take care of the employees at workplace. Yeah. So these are the things that when we talk about, the job analysis and evaluations, when it is hazardous, for example, then which means to say you have to look at, how hazardous it is. Okay. Now, another business is that, if you are familiar with the insurance industry, for example, yeah, if you are familiar with the insurance industry, okay, cargo ship, yeah, that carrying cars, for example, yeah, sorry about it. Okay, cargo. Cars. Okay. So look at, cargo, a big vessels, yeah, carrying hundreds, thousands of cars, for example. Touch wood, if unfortunate event happened, the vessel actually sank in the middle of sea, the total cars that has been manifested or reported in the manifest, will be paid by the insurance company. True or not? Yeah. The loss of it, yeah, because the cost is being covered by insurance, yeah, during the transport from one particular area to another area, from one particular country to another country, from one particular port to another port. So in between, say for example, the ship, the cargo actually that carrying cars, for example, sunk, for example, unfortunate, sorry to say, unfortunate. So the cars actually sunk at the bottom of the sea. Insurance, they need to pay for the insurance because it is covered by the insurance company. But before the insurance company actually pay to the cars company, the insurance will need to check whether or not it is true that the car actually sunk at the bottom of the sea. Now the question is that how is insurance company going to do that? So this is where insurance company will actually appoint insurance adjuster. So the insurance adjuster will be having a diver, a diver to actually dive into the sea and check whether or not there are cars underneath the sea. Anyone likes diving here? Ada yang suka menyelam ya? Mas-mas mbak-mbak sekalian ya, ada yang bisa menyelam ya atau minat ya suka diving ya. It's not easy, diving, it has its hazards, yeah. When you reach down a certain depth, for example, before you go to the on top of the water, you have to stop in between so that the pressure, in the brain will be balanced off. Yeah, it can, you have to reduce the pressure slowly. You cannot jump straight, yeah, from the bottom of sea, go straight. Yeah, go straight to the to the sea level, yeah, on the surface. Not that easy. So these are hazardous. Faham kan ni dia Dika? Elizabeth, faham ya? Do you understand or not what I'm saying about the insurance adjuster? Not easy, yeah. Now, another business we talk about, yeah, hazardous, yeah, not easy one. Okay, I give you some more example. Sorry, hold on, yeah. What you call submarine maintenance. Oh, look at this. When you do maintenance of submarine, now this is on dock. You can see that this is on dock, yeah? On land, it's okay. This is easier. But imagine if it is underneath the sea. How are you going to maintain? The submarine does not, it's below the sea. You have to have these divers, maintenance, divers to dive in the water and do the, maintenance service. So that's part of the job, So we have many kinds of jobs that actually requires, yeah, a certain type of evaluations, and it is one of the highest pay, yeah, as well. I think you do not know this, yeah. Some of the jobs are actually quite expensive because of the hazardous environment or high risk. When you dive in a certain depth level, yeah, of in the sea, for example, you can only stay for quite some time. Yeah, there is a limit to that. If you're becoming a pilot, you know what is pilot? Aviator, yeah, a pilot, for example, there's a maximum hour for you to aviate the plane. If you fly domestic, if you fly overseas, for example, as a pilot, there's a limit for it. They calculate within like bi-weekly basis or monthly basis. Say, for example, you are a pilot that aviates the plane, yeah, from Jakarta to United States of America, for example. It's a long distance, for example. It takes about 15 hours, for instance, yeah, for example. So that particular long stretch of hours is not equivalent when you fly domestic flight from Jakarta to Sulawesi, for example, or to other places, for example, to Bali, for example. Yeah, so it's not the same. You fly overseas, a long haul flight compared to a domestic short trip, it is not the same calculations. Yeah, it's not the same. Even though you can calculate or compare based on the hours, but long haul, normally it has a heavier weightage or more weightage in the comparisons. Yeah. So again, when we want to establish the pay rates, you may need to look at the the curves, yeah, whether it's actually according to the market value or not. Okay. So some of the wage survey you can actually look at or benchmark. Yeah, how much is the difference between you and your company's competitors or the market values? Yeah, that you can check on. There are lots of online websites that put up the availability for you to actually to check on the salary, pay, and so on. Yeah, some of the sources where you can get information related to the wage and salary is that you can conduct your survey, you can search through from the internet, or you can actually refer to the government agencies if you are actually offering for government jobs, or you can have like HR consultant company to help you to do that. So these are some of the websites, yeah, that you can actually utilize. Yeah, salary.com, wageweb.com, in United States, these are the couple websites, yeah, that they have been using since the 2013 onwards, according to Dassler and so on, from mid 2000s until recently. These are a couple of the earlier websites, yeah, that provide that. Nowadays you have more websites, yeah, that provide more informations on the salary comparisons. Okay. So step 2, what are the things that you need to evaluate when you want to evaluate the job? Number 1, of course, the skills. Yeah, the skills including the capability and competency of someone to perform the task. Yeah, so you have like soft skills and the hard skills as well. Yeah, hard skills, it could be the technical skills. The soft skills, that will be kemahiran insania, for example. Yeah, in Malay we call so-called like communication skills, leadership, for examples. Yeah, and working conditions. Yeah, working conditions. Yeah. Diaz, Elizabeth. Yeah. Yeah. All of the students here, would you like to work under aircon, or you want to work under the sun? Last time I used to ask my student, in early 2010. Yeah, in 2010, 12 years ago. 12 years ago. 12 tahun lalu, ya. Elizabeth usianya berapa 12 tahun yang dahulu? 2010, ya. Mbak usianya berapa ya? 2010. How old were you? Sorry to ask.
6 year old.
Oh, you're 6 years old. Imagine that. 6 years old. I asked my student in the university, I said, you receive a salary $500 US, working in room with aircon, or you receive $1,000 US, double the pay, but outside the office. Which one would you choose? They say they want to work in the office. They don't want to work outside. But now the generations has changed, because on that particular time, 2010, the students at the universities are actually your previous generations. 10 years ago, your previous generations are actually the generations that being told by the parents to study hard, to get a degree, so that you can have a better work environment, work conditions, true or not? But your generation is different. You can see that you can have like, you can becoming your own, self entrepreneurship, for example. A good example, content creator. Remember when I started my lecture just now, I told you I had one student from Indonesia. He has more than 1.8 million followers on his Instagram. We do this beach cleaning in UMS here. You know how much does the shoes actually cost? $1,000 US. Ya, Bapak Dr. Christian, ya, to do beach cleaning, pembersihan pantai, ya.
Wow,
Betul?
wow.
It is 1,000 ringgit US. $1,000 US.
It's a big.
Yeah, for him it's okay, but for me, that's the shoes that I wear to travel. Only important meetings I wear that. You won't be wearing it to the beach. When we say to the beach, it's going to the sea with the water, and that sports shoes also cannot last long. Some more, it is a canvas shoes. You know, if you were to ask me what kind of shoes, I can tell you that this is the shoes. Fellow students, DS, Elizabeth, yeah, Alfani, yeah, I only see the plush toys there, yeah, Alfani. The shoes, yeah, Louis Vuitton. This is the shoes that the guy actually wore to the beach. This type of shoes. 1,000 US dollars, but Insta famous. So this is what I'm saying. You know, if you look at here, whose song is this? Semua Demi Kamu. You know this song? If you do not know this song, you are not Indonesians. Who is the singer? Angga Chandra. How does the song sounds like? You know, aku lelah, lelahku terbiasa, sakitku terbiasa, semua untuk kamu. So that is the Angga
Okay.
Video
Wow.
creations, content creations, driving, prank people, making content. This is the generations that we are talking about. Understand or not? Now we venture into music industry some more. Yeah. Okay. If you are seeing my screen now, that will be Nabila Maharani. You know this song, Nabila Maharani? Indonesians, if you do not know Nabila Maharani, I don't know. You know, who knows about Nabila Maharani? Tell me some more before I proceed. Mana pelajar-pelajar, mas mbak-mbak Indonesian sekalian ya, mana ya? Okay, let us check on the chat ya. Yang ingin bertanya bisa melalui chat box ya. Who is this? Nabila Maharani. You know Nabila Maharani, she started a YouTube channel way before the busking industry, way before. Sebelum lagi menjadi busker ya, industrinya busker itu menjadi busking ya di Indonesia sebelum lagi glamour, Nabila has started it. Up until with the who is the couple? What is the couple's name? I forgot. Triswaka. You know, Triswaka, for example, started to produce the movie, the YouTube for them. Then if you notice or not, the Triswaka, he built up a lot of channels, true or not? It's not only a single channel now. He builds up lots of channels there. So Triswaka is one of the successful YouTubers in Indonesia. Because if you follow the traits of Triswaka, he channeled it. He compiled with lots of artists, for example, yeah. Angga Chandra, for example, he invited Judika, for example, to sing along. So Judika also promote that. So this is the new type of strategic pay in the music industry, especially for the video content creator. You see, so now we are talking about, it's not just about, working with people, but it is also about the, your self-establishments. How do you establishing the pay rates? If you are not paying your artists, how are you going to sustain? The good ones that they can sing, if you are not paying your artists, they are not able to sing, for example, you see. So this is the pay rates. Yeah. Okay. Now, some more. Yeah. When we, some of the methods that for us to evaluate the jobs, we can also do the ranking or we can compare. Yeah. This one requires a bit of, readings. These are just some of the examples of one particular company, Olympia Healthcare, for example. Office manager, 43,000, yeah, a year, for example, yeah. A nurse, for example, 32,500. Okay, so when we establish the pay rates, we need to make sure that the jobs are actually into, we pay into grades. So within the grade itself, it usually will have the, the different jobs level. Supervisor, senior supervisor, assistant manager, senior manager, for example. So that's the pay grade itself, yeah, and the levels of it. Okay, so ensure that the wage or the salary is actually, is actually in between the line. Yeah, the closer your dot here to the center of the center line here, which means to say you are still paying in the market, market price. If it is way below here, which means to say you pay your employees are actually below the market. On top of this, which means to say you overpay. So this is the axis that you can refer on, yeah, when you plot the plots of the wage or salary curve. Yeah, you can look at it. So you can see some of the website, yeah, in Indonesia, for example, human resource managers, for example, yeah, from the website, you can check. it's about 226 million Indonesian rupiah, yeah, for human resource manager averagely. US dollars 14,000, ringgit Malaysia 68,000. You see. So for example, if I were to go to work in Indonesia, I will request to be paid in US dollars, because US dollars in Indonesia, if you pay me to US dollars, when I receive the US dollars, I convert to ringgit Malaysia, I earn more. I earn more, way more than I'm supposed to earn. So that is why a lot of ASEAN people now are working in Australia, are working in Singapore, because the pay and the currency exchange is so high. The stronger the currency against our currency, the better for them. So these are the things that when we establishing a strategic pay and looking at the different salary match. Yeah. So the last step, fine tune the pay rates. After you have established all of the procedures and all, you need to fine tune that. Make sure that there's a flexibility in offering that, because when you're actually opening a job, job creations or job vacancy, the types of applicants that applied for the job, it could be coming down from different background. One example, 2 months ago, I did one interview. Last month. One job positions, 2,000 people applied. Satu saja jawatan kosong, kekosongan, satu jawatan saja, lebih daripada 2,000 pemohon. Imagine that. So it took the manager for 2 weeks to actually conduct the interview. Imagine that, fellow students from the Indonesia, if Dania, for example, Dania Firdausi, for example, you apply for one job, but the thing is that you have 2,000 applicants, 2,000, orang memohon untuk satu vacancy. Dania, if you are the human resource manager, how are you going to do? How are you going to conduct the interview? Not easy, right? 2,000 for one particular job.
Yes, sir.
It will not be. Betul, Dania. Okay, all right. So now the question is that when we actually are dealing with compensating executive and managers, for example, the base pay, how much will it cost, for example? Sometimes it also comes with perks. I'll give you more examples here. Okay, so the executive compensations basically are somewhat becoming an issue in overseas, especially in big companies, for example. Because of the executive compensation, including base salary, bonuses and performance-based pay, stock option plans, perks, or you can call it perquisites, and severance packages. We will refer this one by one. So perks, in general, it is related, to the compensation plan, extra insurance coverage. They will give you vacations, for example. They will provide you a company cars, club memberships. You can use the plane, and you can have a legal counseling process. So these are the perks. So Dania, what car do you love? Or what car do you like? I would ask. Dania, mobil apa yang Anda suka? Jenama apa sih? Dania, if you guys like K-drama, for example, you probably like Hyundai, for example. Korean cars, for example. And you can see that in big corporations, normally they provide companies cars with drivers and all. So these are the executive levels. If you are being a director, if you are a boss like Dr. Christian, for example, normally he has a lot of perks, as well as I know Dr. Christian has experience with the industry when he's holding positions. He has a certain perks, for example. Like us, for example, our head of departments, occasionally we will be they will be getting like mobile phones. That's the normal perks that we will talk about. So this is the perks that will blow your mind away. Let's witness some of the case here. CEO issues has been so it has been quiet and issues since the 1990s, especially in the 2000 up until now. There's one particular company, a financial consultant company, the CEO itself, this is not the pay that the CEO actually received. This is the perks that he received for financial counseling and tax preparation. For a consultant to prepare the tax preparation, the cost of him to provide his tax is already $400,000 in 1 year. So imagine that he's earning. How much will be the earning? You see, so not cheap. Yeah. There is one particular CEO, yeah, has the perks of getting a security services. The security services that provided to him was about $580,000. That case was in 2018. The security officer, I do not know how many bodyguards that the CEO actually having, with the cost of $580,000. That's a lot, yeah, Dr. Christian? I think because
Yes,
of
sir.
once you have like $5,000. So this one, he could be having 100 security officers. Imagine that if you are a CEO of a company, you have 100 security officers. You see, this is the perks that we are talking about. There's one particular company CEO, a corporation CEO, for example, not his salary, not anything. Yeah, the perks is that including for him to renovate his office. He came in as a new CEO into that particular corporation. He refurbished the office. He buy a furniture. The furniture itself costs about $1 million. $1 million for furnishing the office. Furnishing, ya, bagi cantik, ya. Beli lukisan, ya, contoh-contoh, you cannot see, ya, lukisan, for example, ya. Lukisan, ya, whatever that is to furnish the office, ya. $1 million. Imagine that, $1 million just for your room. That's the perks. It blows your mind, right? Carpet, rug, yeah, carpet, the office too. $87,000 for his room only, for the CEO's rooms only. Carpet. Dr. Christian, we are talking about carpet, $87,000 for the office. CEO office, not the whole building office, CEO office, one person office. I think it's a cashmere carpet. That's so expensive. My God,
Yeah, so expensive.
So expensive. Trash can. Our trash can, probably is $1, yeah, $1, US dollars. The CEO trash can, $1,400. $1,400.
I think it's
Tong
from
sampah.
gold.
Tong sampah, yeah. Elizabeth, tong sampah, imagine, yeah, trash can. $1,400. But the normal CEO, averagely, they will receive a cars and driver with a budget of $17,000 average in United States. This was based on the data in 2015, yeah, according to Kennedy 2020, yeah. There are also a case of where corporate companies, they provide aircraft, for example, but normally the aircraft is for the executive committees, yeah. But this one, there's one particular company that actually use up for personal use. Yeah, the total use of that particular year was actually almost $100,000 in 2018. In 2018. Yeah, so $98,000 for personal use, 364 thousands for the whole company, including the others, directors and all. So imagine, you work as a CEO, you work as a CFO, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Financial Officers. The corporate itself provide you the plane, a private jet. You know what kind of private jet that we are talking about? This one. Private jet. Look at this. You travel with this. Private jet, CEO. This is the perks. Becoming a CEO of a big corporations, for example, you fly with private jets. I remember, yeah, there was one particular CFO, Chief Financial Officer in the region of Malaysia, yeah, which including Singapore. The owner is actually from one of the country, fly in using jet, yeah, fly into Malaysia, drop by, just pass him the CFO the money. He called the CFO. He said, "Can you come in? I will pass you, $50,000 in short while for the company's use. Yeah, can you go to the airport?" So the CFO go to the airport. The guy touched down, pass the money. and fly out some more. Private jet. And that particular company is from Malaysia. What some more if you are in Fortune 500 companies? My God, okay. So that's the context that we are looking at. Occasionally there is also like country club fee reimbursement, for example. In Kota Kinabalu, there's one particular resort. The membership for the golf membership is about 65 divided by 4 is roughly about 15,000 US dollars. This is the resort. Look at here. Sutra Harbor Resort. Do you like this place? Look at the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like this place? Dania, cantik kah tempat ni?
Yes, sir. This is
Indah?
very beautiful.
You know how much is the membership for the golf? The golf membership, 15,000 US dollars minimum.
Oh, so expensive.
50,000, yeah, so expensive. And it has a limit. It has a limit of membership. Even though if you have money, if there is already a maximum numbers of membership, they have the maximum numbers, you cannot buy until someone let go their membership.
Oh yeah, I heard it too. Just
Yeah.
because you have money doesn't mean you can buy a membership in there because it's exclusive.
Correct.
Usually it's around the circle.
But if you have more money, you can offer for a better price. You say you sell for 60,000, I buy with you 100,000. For example, with that money, that's a lot. So these are the perks. Sometimes this has become the issues. I'm sharing with you is that so that we can see. Wow. Okay. The corporation is so huge. The human resource practices is so huge because we are not dealing just with your employees. We're also dealing with the pay for the directors, pay for the CEO itself. Okay. Let's look at a certain case. I'll give you another case study. All right. In the case study of public service, for example, like what I mentioned with Dr. Christian just now, in public sector, normally in Malaysia, we have a job grade. So regardless of whether you are female or male, when you enter these particular positions with a bachelor degree, your starting salary, the base pay will be about 2,000 ringgit Malaysia money. Ringgit Malaysia, 2,000. That will roughly about 500 US dollars. Roughly. Okay, for the minimum, the salary minimum. Then you will have like annual increment, which is about 70 US dollars a year. 70 US dollars a year. So this is the entry point, which means that any of my students who completed the bachelor degree at university, when they apply jobs, jobs at public service sector, government jobs in Malaysia, this will be roughly the salary pay, the average pay. For administrations. Of course, you have like technology, you have like medical officer, doctors, engineers of the government. But for normal management or administrative positions, for bachelor degree holder, this will be it. This one does not include the entertainment allowance and all. This is just the basic salary. Okay, but if you're working as a government service, public service planning departments, you plan for the service, for example, you will plan the budget for the pension. Okay, after the officer's pension, for example, you start to plan the budget for them. And if the prime minister or the president, for example, announce this year budget, we will increase the pension fee for about 10%. So you have to inflate it, increase the budget as well. So this is when you are involved with the workforce planning for the public service. As well as, you have a leave replacement. Every year in Malaysia, when you have a job, for example, at government, you can actually, put up a leave, your leave that you did not finish or used up in 1 year, you can accumulate it up until 4 to 6 months. So upon your retirement, the total leave that you unused leave that you accumulated, you can change for money. You understand? This is what we call the leave replacement. You can accumulate up to 5 months or 6 months. Then upon your retirement, they will replace it. They will give you a gratitude in terms of money. So which means to say, if your salary is about 5,000 US dollars, upon your retirement, they'll, the total save up of your leave replacement is about 6 months, which means that you will be getting 5,000 US dollars times 6 months, which is 30,000 US dollars. So these are the things that you need to plan as a government agency. When you have someone to retire, for example, yeah. So it's a huge task, yeah. Another case, this is quite interesting as well. Back in 2015, for example, there's a retrenchments, yeah, in certain industries, yeah. As you can see, there was a bubble burst of the industry, in United States. It has actually inflicted us, for example. Yeah, I came across with one of the case study, yeah, but not going to mention which company. I interviewed the person. He has been working for more than 15 years. During the retrenchment that happened here, the company actually retrenched him. Okay, so which means to say all of the accumulated salary increment, for the 15 years that he has been working, gone back to year 0. Because the day that they retrench him, they terminate his service, okay, because of retrenchment, pembuangan pekerja, penempatan contract, for example, the company re-offer him to work. Say, for example, yeah, Elizabeth, Danya, okay, unfortunately, today we have to terminate your service. Huh? You said I've been working for 15 years. My salary is about 5,000 US dollars, for example, yeah, 5,000 US dollars, for example. Then what happened is that the company say, okay, after you have been working for 15 years, because of we appreciate your hard work for the past 15 years, we are going to re-offer you a new employment for you, but you will start from 2,000 US dollars. So imagine that you have been working for 15 years, the pay was about 5,000 US dollars. Then after they terminate you, they re-offer to you again a new employment contract. They provide you with 2,000 ringgit. 2,000 US dollars, for example. Now, the question is that some of us, we think that it is unethical. But another perspective is that there's a choice for the employees. Number one, when you are being terminated, do you want to get straight away to get a job to secure your income or not? So if you look at from another perspective, the company is actually doing some social service or corporate social responsibility to try to retain as much as possible to the staff. This is more or less similar to the example when COVID-19 happened. Certain hotels, in hotel industry, it was impacted a lot. Certain hotel actually, terminate the employees. Certain hotel, they merged the department. Certain hotel, they did not terminate the employees. They reduced the, the salary, but they still keep the employees. They reduce 50% of the salary, for example, but they still keep the workers. You see, so this is a choice, yeah, of the company. So another one, for example, when the government actually announced the minimum wage, yeah, from 1,200 ringgit Malaysia ringgit, roughly about 400 US dollars or 400 US dollars to 500 US dollars, for example. What will be the difference is that it has give a lot of impact. Yeah, for instance, instead of a payment is being paid in cash, the companies tend to reduce the benefit as well, yeah, to supplement the payment in cash. But there was also a circumstances whereby they did not adjust on the actual salary pay, but they increase the value of the salary by calculating or factor in the accommodations provided, the meals provided. Say, for example, domestic helper, yeah, pembantu rumah, for example, yeah, working, for example, the minimum wage is about 1,500 ringgit. Say, for example, we only pay 1,200 ringgit, for example, 1,200. There's a difference of 300, true or not? So the 300 will be including 200 for the room, 100 for the meal, for example. This is how they actually meet up with the minimum wage requirements. Okay. So if you look at the CEO pay in Malaysia, yeah, the highest pay of the CEO in Malaysia, yeah, which is about is the Genting Group, yeah. The name is Tan Sri Lim Kok Tai, yeah. The average income, yeah, of the director or the CEO of the company is about 151 million a year. So roughly about 30 million US dollars a year. This is in Malaysia, yeah, Dr. Christian. The highest CEO pay, yeah, in Malaysia is 30 million US dollars, yeah, in Malaysia. Okay, this is the owner of the casino group, yeah, Genting Group. Yeah, the one that owns the resort in Singapore, yeah, Sentosa Resort. This is the one, yeah, Genting Group owner, the director. Roughly about 30 million US dollars. But if we look at the context, yeah, of the international CEO, the highest paid CEO is actually Elon Musk himself. If you look at the context, yeah, Elon Musk, he is offered by the option share, yeah, share options, yeah, he's provided with the option award, which means to say they are not paying because this is his own company. He earns the share, but they are paying him in terms of share that is able to purchase. So which means to say the share options for Elon Musk is that he can buy the share of Tesla with a cheaper price than the market price. So the total worth of it is actually 10 billion, yeah, if not mistaken, yeah. 10 billion. So imagine that. The salary pay, yeah, in terms of on paper, even though Elon Musk is not being paid in cash, but he's paid in share, which is about 10 billion a year. So that's a lot, yeah, for the richest person on earth, yeah. Okay. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, for instance, is getting about 853 millions, yeah, a year, yeah. So that's the case of it. Yeah. So there has been an outrage, yeah, of the CEO pay. Yeah. Some will say the gap is so huge. Yeah. So what kind of gap, it could be up until 670 compared to 1. So which means that in average, yeah, these particular companies, yeah, one CEO pay is actually can cover up until 670 employees in the future. So regardless of that, I really wish that, the fellow students here from Indonesia, one day you could be a top CEO and you will be receiving a good salary pay because you are coming from a good lecture from the Christians and myself as well. So I wish you all the best to that. Yeah. So on top of that, there is also some other case study, for instance. Yeah. 1983. Yeah. William Agee, the CEO of Bendix, after merge and acquisitions, he getting about 4 million compensations. Yeah, after the company has been merged, he resigned from the company give him a compensation of 4 millions. Back in 1983, this is a lot, 4 million US dollars. Yeah, 1980s, yeah, is about how many years? 40 years ago. Yeah, 39 years ago. Yeah, he was paid 4 million. That's a lot. Yeah, in 1980s. Okay. Another golden parachute issues, yeah, where the CEO of Pfizer, yeah, if you know the vaccine Pfizer, for example, this is the former CEO back in 2005 when he resigned, he was given a 83 million pension. Yeah, pension, yeah, 83 million. That's the CEO of Pfizer. Pfizer is the vaccine that we use, right? For the COVID-19 vaccine. So back in 2005, when the CEO actually pensioned, he was given in 2005, he was given 83 million of compensations. Yeah. Hi, Fika. All right. Tony Howard, another case of a CEO, case. Yeah. The CEO of a British Petroleum, yeah, BP in 2009 was terminated. He was fired from his positions because of the, Deepwater Horizons, yeah, case. Yeah. So when he was actually terminated, because of the dissatisfactions of board of director against him, but he still managed to pocket in 1.6 million, and as well as how many is this 6 million, or is it 6 million pensions
6
every
million.
year. 6 million. Imagine that if you have been fired, if you have been terminated, you still receive $6 million yearly pension. Wow, as a person, but so these are the things that what we call it as a golden parachute contract. So CEO normally they have this golden parachute contract, not easy to remove. Yeah. What happened to the the case of it is the the oil spill. Yeah. In one of the water, and you can see that, yeah, the oil rig stations, yeah, the Deepwater Horizons case, yeah, you can see that what happened actually. Yeah, so he was terminated because of his lack of performance and late response to the case of this. Yeah, not mistaken. Yeah, so the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, yeah, has killed 11 workers and injured 17 workers. On top of that, it also killed 800,000 birds. So imagine that. Because of it, he resigned. Yeah, similar of the case of South Korean, Prime Minister. When there was a case of, when there was a case of, when there was a case of, the ferry actually happened. What happened is that he resigned. True or not? Myself and Dr. Christian, from Shafa. Okay, Shafa Wali from Digital Office Administrations Major. I want to ask, how are senior employee salaries treated if they are not productive? Well, that depends on the legal requirements. You still have to refer back to the company policy. Normally, the company policy will state the minimum requirement or minimum achievement of your performance target. Sales, for example, you have like sales target. Every year you will have a performance evaluation form for you to fill in. It can be a 360-degree, or it can be a peer review. It can be a immediate, immediate supervisor's review, or it can be a self-assessment. It depends on what type of, what type of company. But regardless of the, type of performance review form that you have, as long as you're above the minimum passing marks, it's very difficult to terminate the person. Yeah, more or less is that it goes back to the policy again, whether or not your company actually, the company actually provide bonuses or not. So it plays along with the policies that you have and the practices that you have. But you can also looking at the context of, if they wanted to perform, not because of the behavior problem, they wanted to perform, but their lack of technology, for example, technology skills, for example, then you have to reskill them or upskill them. When I provide the training for our, for one of the bus driver, driver company, is a company that, give out, roughly rent out about 60 drivers. When I gave the training to them, the first thing that I asked them is that, what do you need to increase your KSA, your knowledge, your skills, and your attributes as a driver? 60 of them. Yeah, these companies, I gave training to them. So they said, sir, we would like to know what type of trainings that can actually increase the communication of us. Because when we drive, we are dealing with international tourists, international, visitors. So we need to know how to communicate with them. So I said, you need a language class, for example. You need to know how to use, you need to use, device. So with the device that, that's able to actually, that is able to translate, it's easier for you to communicate with them. Imagine that if you drive a Japanese tourist, for example, you do not know how to speak Japanese. Yeah, then that will be difficult. So you may need a handheld device that have the translator. Easy. For example, there was one time, I was in South Korea. You know what happened? I went to the car. The taxi driver cannot speak English. He kicked us out from the taxi. No, he said, no, just like that. A taxi driver, went to the car already sitting. I show the address. 안녕하세요. Okay, 안녕하세요. They say 안녕. Okay. Then we thought that it's okay. But the thing is that when we show the location in English, on Agoda, what happened is that no, out, just like that. Oh my God, I said, So imagine that, if you are a driver without education, for example, what kind of trainings that you provide. So these are the things that when we have, Shafa, we as a human resource managers, we need to do intervention so that we can actually add value to the employees. With the value that we add in, it will be top up to the, the performance of it. So again, it depends on whether they are counterproductive or counter behavior. Counter behavior is in the sense of they are senior, senior. You're getting almost retire. You have 1 year or 2 year retire. So everything is slow, since you are actually about to retire. And you like to have a sip of coffee all the time. People working and you say, I'm going to retire. Let's have a sip of coffee. You youngsters, you all do the job. You know, it's okay. I'm going to retire. You just have a sip of coffee all the time. It happened. So this is what I'm saying, you know, because of the populations is actually aging and you will be actually managing older people, you will have this problem, yeah? Or you'll have these issues, or I would say these issues will be facing you. Because with a degree, you could be managing people that has been working for 30 years, 40 years, or could be your parents' age, you know, almost getting to retire, how to communicate with them. You call them uncle, they're not happy, you know. You call them auntie, they are not happy, you know. You have to call them mba, you know, for example, still young, you know, brother, for example, big brother, you know, if you say uncle, 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 yeah. Yeah, you call what you call ibu, ibu, ibu. You say, don't call me ibu, you know, I'm still young, you know. Saya belum kahwin, you know, just call me mbak, for example, even though almost retired, for example. These are the things that I experienced, you know. Went to Jakarta one time, about to check out, you know, I told the officer, you know, sorry about it. I told the officer, right? I talked to the officer. I said, you know, officer, I said, I'm going to, you know, I'm going back to Malaysia. Yeah. So I was, you know, joking with her. I call her Ibu. And she looked at me. She said, you know, saya bukan, yeah, ini bukan ibu ya, ini mbak, you know. So, you know, so sensitive about it because in Malaysia context, normally we call ibu is for someone that is we respect out of the positions, regardless of the marital status. But occasionally, it is also the same thing that we face in Malaysia. Sometimes you call them, you know, ibu or puan, for example. Puan is Mrs. Yeah, they said, sorry, I'm not married yet. You know, so it's a you know reference title. So these are the things that you know requires a certain skills to communicate with them. Okay, so we have some of the questions. May I ask some questions, but unmute at first. Yeah, yes, please. Yes, Elizabeth. Yes, go ahead.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
go
who goes first? Elizabeth first.
go ahead
Okay.
if you want. If there is one to ask question.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm Elisa. Maybe my question not really relate about those topic, but I wanna ask about some issue as we are know, let's say buruh, their equality in many categories, for example, salary levels, compensation, commission, and work with hours over. They are much work with target and other needs that are not provided by the factory. So
Your mic is muted again, Elisa. You
so
have to unmute.
okay, my some question first. What's the Dr. Datu Razali point of view or perspective why this can happen until now, and then for the future, can this problem be solved? That's maybe my question, Doctor. I say thank you for the opportunity.
The questions is basically because the line was lagging. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it related to you know unfair treatment? You will say in terms of like the wages being paid, the benefits, right?
Yes.
True or not?
Sir.
Okay. Remember just now when we mentioned about the direct pay, it is divided into salary and wages, right? So with wages, as long as it meets the minimum pay, yeah, the minimum pay is already covered. So normally, if the company, you know, will try to save costs as much as possible, they will try to meet the requirement end. So that's what the government always review the minimum wage, always review. Dental fee, for example, they always review that. You know, the dental fee, you know, the medical dental fee, the dental fee that we getting. So it is also based, you know, it is also calculated based on the cost of living allowance. So which means to say, if the higher the cost of living, for example, the medical benefit will increase as well. So it depends on the company capability as well. Yeah. For example, there are one particular corporations in Sabah, the salary for the engineer is quite low, but the perks, yeah, the benefit, medical benefit is high. It was able to retain the employees. Now, these are the things that, you know, it comes to the practices of the organizations. So if you were to say, if the employer intended to save a lot of money and to maximize the profit, this will happen. That's what my advice is always, that we do not want to maximize the employees, but we want to optimize the employees. What does it mean? To provide as good as possible. Yeah, to provide as good as possible. So how do you prevent that? Number one, it requires policymaker to review the minimum wage so that you can protect them. With the higher minimum wage, you can actually provide a betterment for them. The benefit, the indirect, compensations, for example, it has to be looked through by the human resource. And workers' union, for example, if you have workers' union, then that will be easier to monitor, because workers' union can vocal out and can voice out, to be vocal and voice out the need for it. If you do not have a strong union, for example, then the well-being, kebajikan, true or not, Elisa? Kebajikan, the welfare of the employees will not be taken care. So various parties will have to play different roles. The government has to check minimum wage. The government has to review betterment or better policy, or propose a better policy. Companies, employers will have a better directions. As you see in my very first slides, company policies, true or not? So policies is what's set by the companies. It's not the company's law, because the company's law, they will not state to you, simply because it is based on the minimum requirement that they will fulfill. But policy is what they wanted to practice, a list of the tasks, a list of the responsibility, the corporate values that they want to have. So it's either you want to go for the minimum, the companies want to do the minimum, they want to do good, they want to do better, or they want to do the best in the industry. Again, why is that the minimum wage is the wage is actually being so low? Because they're trying to maximize the maximize the profit and reduce the cost of it. Yeah, so it goes back to the resources. So that's what we, as a human resource, we are here to do intervention. We are there to facilitate. We are there to put value. So this is our roles as a human resource managers. We need to talk to the management. This is not right. The salary, the wage is too low, for example. We may need to consider. So the boss maybe ask you, if we cannot pay, if we cannot pay, the employees, if we cannot pay the employees in terms of, salary at this moment. I have 10,000, I have $2,000, but actually beautify the environment. We can actually buy, additional tools, safety tools, or better tools for them. Simple. Like I went to a workshop, right, to fix the car, repair the car. Some mechanic, they don't have a proper tools. They need to borrow from each other, But if you know that that mechanic is good, they will have lots of tools belongs to him only. Then only that is an actual mechanic. A car mechanic that is not good will borrow the tools from here and there. He will ask another mechanic, where's the spanner? Where's the screwdriver? He will ask that. You try to observe this. My experience is that when the family actually doing construction business, when we wanted to employ, carpenters, tukang kayu, Mbak. So yang bawa tukang kayu ni, when they came to interview, if the carpenter does not bring the hammer, we are not going to take him. A good carpenter, he will bring his tools. Straight away in his mind, he will get the job straight away. That's a good one. We have seen this, our family has been doing constructions for quite some time. We have built up, a fish market. We have built up like roads, for example, family. So what happens is that when it comes to carpenters, for example, or manual workers, they will bring their tools. Like chainsaw, for example, the handsaw, not chainsaw, sorry, handsaw, gergaji tangan. Where do you check? The sharpness of the saw, is it well maintained or not? Because that's their tools. That's their tools. Carpenter, what is most important? The hammer. You look at the hammer. If the hammer is actually, it's already deteriorated, not being well taken care, and lots of it's already loose, it's not a good carpenter. Similar like this, like us, Dr. Christian, for example, we must need to have the right tools. for example, then only is actually proper in doing that. So that's the whole things that when we look at that. Yeah. I think I answered that. Probably Dr. Christian would like to add up on the welfare of the wage workers, or manual workers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mr. Datu Razali. Due to time constraints, maybe one last question from Andika. I'm sorry.
Andika,
Please,
yes.
Andika, one last question. Mr. Datu.
Excuse me, sir. My name is Andika from Office Digital Office Administration. Yes. I want to ask, how is the employee salary assessment at the company, especially for fresh graduates? Thank you, sir.
What do you mean? How is it? Company? Salary?
Yeah, assessment, salary assessment for employee.
Okay. How
Salary
do they assess?
assessment. How do they assess?
Suitable, the suitable salary for graduates,
Fresh
right? Young
graduates.
Yeah.
Number one, you look at the industry, the sector. Is it public sector or private sector? Like what we mentioned just now, public sector, they have the grade. Normally in Malaysia, I think in Indonesia as well, yeah? Dr. Christian? So you have a grade.
Yeah.
It depends on the professions, the job category. For example, in Malaysia, public sector, grade N is for administration. Medical officer, it will be U, the grade. So you know already, if it's only for medical doctor, they have a different salary range. DS, for example, is for lecturer, academics. Teacher, DG, that's the code that we use. If you are accountant, for example, the grade will be accountant W. Yeah. I show you example, if I may, sorry, just a quick one. Okay. You see or not? For accountant, this is the salary. Hold on, for accountant, Andika, you can see or not? Sorry. Wait for a while, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you look at here, where is it? You see or not? If you see accountant, for example, yeah. W is for finance. Uang, yeah, uang. So it's W. 19 is normally for those high school leavers. So you have a job grade. If you have a bachelor degree, this could be 2,000 plus, like what I shared with you just now. The one that I shared with you just now was N, administration. If you're having a bachelor degree in business admin, bachelor degree in human resource management, bachelor degree in management, that's for the job N. If you're a technology officer, then that will be T, yeah, technology officer. I'll check first, yeah, I go for you. Hold on, yeah. Juru teknik, yeah. Grade gaji, for example. You see? So if you are, grade gaji T41, for example. Yeah, so it has its scale. You see or not? Yeah. Geotechnic computer, for example. If you are, if you are applying using a high schools, not degree, not bachelor degree, high school only, the salary will be roughly about, $300 US. Yeah, gaji minimum. Every year you'll get the annual increment. So this is public sector. It has the grade and job category and all. Yeah. If you are in, if you are in private sector, it will be much depending on the market price itself. Normally, private sector, they know. All right. Sorry about the internet connections. Yeah. Okay. Say for example, there's one particular website that you can look at. pay scale, for example. All right. Okay, you can use the website actually to look at it. Yeah. Job streets, for example, there's also a company salary pay, for example. Then Glassdoor, for example, is quite famous in United States. All of these websites are actually usable, yeah, for you to compare and assess for the what you call the salary. So once again, it will very much depending on the range that they offer for you. So normally as experienced employers, they know the market range already. If you are fresh graduate, for example, without experience, they know already. So that's how to add value to it. Upon your graduations, while waiting for employment, how do you increase your capability? You go attend any certificate training program. What is lacking on today's new job applicants is that their lack of the technical skills, including like computer skills, worksheets, for examples, yeah, PowerPoint presentations, Microsoft, but more important is that they are looking into worksheets, yeah, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft database, yeah, analytic software. You go for this, because if you are saying that digital office, for example, or digital administrations, you maybe come across with digital skills, where digital skills also comprise of how to collect data, how to research for data, how to manipulate data, how to produce an analytical report. So only that can actually instill the value into your salary adjustment. There are certain companies, normally the practice, they will include the salary, the job description, and the job requirement. So that's what is very important for us as a human resource manager. We need to know the job analysis and requirement when we do the job opening. Okay, and as a job applicant, you must check through the job specifications, which means that you need to know what is actually required for you to perform the job descriptions. Then only you can fulfill that. If you think that you are way above the salary that they offered, you can negotiate with them. But bear in mind that normally like banking industry, they have a specific range of salary. Yeah, it doesn't go much difference. It doesn't. It's only that the one of the highest turnover, yeah, of the industry in Malaysia is that hotel industry. Yeah. Before COVID, yeah, back in 2012, I attended one particular conference. It was stated that one of the highest turnover industry was actually hotel industry, because when hotels employees, yeah, especially in sales and marketing, when you transfer from one hotel to another hotel, you bring another context. So that's what, when you are new freshman come in to work, you work for 2 years, you move to another company, you bring your contact. You remember that? After you're working with the company B for 3 years, which means you accumulated for 5 years of contacts. Now you move to another corporation, company C, for example, which means to say the value with you, you're actually bringing up until five years of contacts, networks and contacts, which means that it is also indicates that you have the chances of bringing new customers from your previous workplace. Yeah, so it will be based on how do they assess? It will be based on your skills that you have, the experience that you have, the network that you have, the communication skills, the soft skills that you have, and the technical skills that you have. So I think in the 5 years time, we will be talking more about analytical skills and analytical skills and reporting skills as much as possible. Yeah. So I think that answers that. Yeah, Andika. Okay. If you have any more questions, I am free as well on next week. We'll talk about some more. Yeah. So with that note, I pass the sessions back to Dr. Christian. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Datu Razali. Due to time constraint, I'm so sorry. Thank you for the material presented by Mr. Datu Razali.
Thank you very
on
much.
establishing strategic pipelines. Maybe I took some highlights where we studied today. First, basic factor in determining pay rates are divided into two, direct and indirect financial. For the direct financial, for example, wage and salary, and indirect financial, for example, flex time and telecommuting. And second, how to establish pay rates with several methods like survey, job evaluation, pay grades, and how to price managerial and professional jobs, base pay, incentive, and benefits. And finally, competency-based pay and other current trend in compensation related Java question, paying for the employee range, depth, and type of skills and knowledge rather than for the job title he or she holds. Okay, I think this is. Thank you very much, Mr. Datu Razali, for all the information, materials, and knowledge. And next week, the lesson will still be taught by Mr. Datu Razali. Can wait for next week.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Christian. Thank you very much.
And for the information, guys, next Monday I will be teach Mr. Datu Razali class, and next Thursday, Dr. Razali come back to teach my class. Okay, thank you, Mr. Datu Razali, for the session today. It's a great honor for our students, and see you next Thursday. Bye-bye. Good afternoon and success for you.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Christian. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Before that, Mr. Datu Razali, maybe we took some documentation.
All right.
Please,
Okay, sure. Yes.
students, to take some documentation. Please on cam. I will print screen in my laptop and I will share to Mr. Datu Razali. Okay, please on cam. Okay, in my screen there is 4 parts. I will click one by one. Okay. Okay, thank you for the waiting. Okay, first slide, I will count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Please give the smile. Okay. Okay, slide 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Slide 2. Okay. Okay, slide 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then slide 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's enough. Thank you once again, Mr. Datu Razali, and see you next Thursday. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jen. Bye.
Oke, teman-teman, terima kasih banyak. Thank you so much. Kita ketemu lagi Kamis depan ya.
Thank you, Pak.
Bye-bye. Yo, sama-sama. Izin live semuanya. Thank you.